Welcome to Zoe Stories. My father-in-law made me his daughter. The first time I met my father-in-law, I felt small. Not just because he towered over everyone at the wedding, but because of the way he surveyed the room. Confident, commanding, like a man who could bend reality to his will. Michael, 19, shy, socially awkward, and painfully inexperienced, had married Emily in a whirlwind romance that still felt unreal. Our families barely knew each other, but I had tried to impress, tried to belong. And I failed. At the reception, he cornered me quietly in the hall. His eyes were sharp, yet strangely calculating. "You're weak," he said softly, almost like a judgment. "Pathetic. But I can help you. Transform you." I blinked. "Transform me?" "Yes," he whispered, leaning closer. "Into someone better. Someone worthy of being my daughter." At first, I thought he was joking, but the look in his eyes told me otherwise. And before I could protest, a thrill of fear and confusion ran through me. The next day, he invited me to his house under the pretext of family bonding. The moment I entered, the rules were clear. No masculine behavior allowed. Polite, delicate, quiet. Follow his instructions precisely. Emily smiled nervously from the corner, knowing more than I did, but not saying a word. He handed me a neatly folded outfit, a delicate blouse, skirt, and soft flats. "Wear this," he instructed, "if you want to be accepted." I froze. My heart raced. I can't. I'm a man." "You're weak," he said again, softly. "But I can help you fix that. You'll learn. Or you'll regret it." The first mirror scene was devastating. My reflection, a timid, awkward boy now forced into feminine clothing, made my stomach churn. The blouse hugged my shoulders, the skirt clung to my hips, and the flats felt foreign under my feet. "You look different," Emily murmured, trying to hide a smirk. I turned away, humiliated. Every fiber of my being screamed to escape, to run back to my old life. But deep down, a part of me was trapped, intrigued, and afraid of defying him. That night, he entered my room silently, a smile playing at his lips. "Tomorrow," he whispered, "we start your lessons. Your transformation begins. And you will not resist." The morning light crept softly through the curtains, but it didn't bring comfort. I lay frozen on the bed, staring at the ceiling, heart hammering. My father-in-law's words from the night before echoed in my mind. "Tomorrow, we start your lessons. Your transformation begins. And you will not resist." I tried to convince myself I could run, refuse, escape. But the house was unfamiliar, the streets quiet, and Emily's timid gaze from the hallway reminded me that I had no ally here. My fear mixed with shame, creating a knot I couldn't untangle. He entered my room quietly, his footsteps soft but purposeful. In his hands, he carried a small makeup kit, neatly organized. A brush, foundation, subtle eyeshadow, and a tube of soft pink lipstick. "Sit," he commanded. His tone was calm, almost gentle, yet it carried a weight I couldn't defy. I hesitated. I can't do this. I'm not." "You are exactly who you are supposed to be," he interrupted, leaning close. "Right now, that's her. Your job is to learn, to become." The mirror in the corner of the room became my judge and tormentor. He guided my hands over the brushes, showing me how to apply foundation, how to sweep the eyeshadow, how to make my lips delicate and soft. Every step felt unnatural, alien, and humiliating. "Look at yourself," he instructed. "Not as Michael, not as a man. See her. The girl you're meant to be." I did. And I hated what I saw. My cheeks were pink, lips soft, and eyes wide and timid. The boy I had been felt trapped, fading into the reflection of the girl staring back at me. Then came the clothes. Emily held a skirt and blouse combination, her eyes nervous, unsure whether to laugh or hide her smile. I stepped into them under his supervision, my legs trembling. The fabric clung to me, pressing against curves I didn't have before, yet somehow shaping me into a soft, delicate figure. "Perfect," he said, voice low and controlled. You are learning. You are improving. But your walk, your posture, still screams boy. Stand taller. Move softer. Let your body speak as her. He demonstrated slow, graceful movements, then guided me through every step. The flats pinched my feet, the skirt restricted my motion, and every glance in the mirror made my stomach twist in embarrassment. After what felt like hours, he finally nodded. Enough for today, he said. But there was no relief, only the knowledge that this was the beginning. My male privileges, freedom, anonymity, casual confidence were gone. Each lesson, each correction, chipped away at the boy I had been. Emily placed a gentle hand on my shoulder. You're pretty, she whispered. The word struck me like a blow. Pretty? It was not flattering, it was humiliating, but also oddly thrilling. I pulled back, my cheeks burning. I'm not. You are, he interrupted, voice steady, commanding. And you will continue to be until you understand completely. That evening, my phone buzzed with a message from a family friend. I hear Michael's new style is something else. Can I see? My stomach dropped. Public exposure was coming, and I had no idea if I was ready to be seen like this. The morning air was crisp, but I felt trapped inside my own skin. The skirt clung tightly, the blouse delicate against my arms, and my legs trembled under the unfamiliar flats. My reflection in the mirror seemed alien, soft, delicate, undeniably feminine. I wanted to look away, to scream, to pull back, but my father-in-law's calm, commanding eyes held me in place. Today, he said, voice low, precise, you will leave the house. People will see you. They will notice. And you will learn how to respond. I swallowed hard. The word people made my chest tighten. I had spent my life avoiding attention, hiding in corners, blending in. Now every step was under scrutiny. Emily led the way to a nearby mall. My steps were slow, calculated, every movement awkward. I kept my head down, trying to disappear, but that was impossible. Every glance felt like a spotlight, every whisper like an accusation. Walk naturally, he instructed softly from behind. Don't hide. She is meant to be seen. I tried. My heels clicked against the polished floor, echoing in the empty spaces between shops. Eyes followed me, some curious, some admiring, some judgmental. I felt my face burn, every step a battle between shame and an odd, undeniable thrill. At a cafe, we stopped. My father-in-law gestured for me to sit, and I felt every pair of eyes in the room subtly analyzing me. The skirt's folds, the gentle sweep of my hair, the faint blush on my cheeks, everything made me visible, exposed. A young man at a nearby table couldn't take his eyes off me. He whispered something to his friend, pointing discreetly. I felt my chest tighten, my stomach twist. Shame, fear, and a strange flutter of excitement collided. See, my father-in-law murmured. They notice. You are her. Own it. I shook my head, trying to hide behind my hair. Emily's small hand on my arm was both comforting and humiliating. You're pretty, she whispered. That word again, pretty. It made me want to curl into myself and run, yet a spark of curiosity flickered. Could I enjoy it? Later, we passed a boutique window. My reflection confronted me, half boy, half girl. I traced the curves of the blouse, the delicate line of my jaw, the softness of my lips. The boy I had been was retreating, fading into shadows. The girl I had become was stepping forward, hesitant but undeniable. You are learning, he said, voice firm. This is only the beginning. One day, you will look back at this moment and see how far you've come. I wanted to argue, to deny it, but all I could do was nod, my legs trembling beneath the skirt, my heart pounding with a mix of shame, fear, and an unfamiliar thrill. As we walked past a crowded salon, someone from my past recognized me. A gasp, a whispered question, and suddenly my private humiliation became public exposure. Michael? Is that really you? My stomach dropped. Eyes turned toward me. The test had just escalated, and there was no escape. The house was silent once Emily left for her errands. The quiet pressed against my ears, magnifying every heartbeat. I stood in front of the full-length mirror, skirt brushing my knees, blouse delicate against my arms. I hardly recognized the reflection staring back at me. Michael's face, shy, awkward, timid, was still there, but the girl's features overlaid him. Soft lips, wide eyes, and a fragile elegance I had never possessed before. The truth hit me. I was no longer just a boy wearing a girl's clothes. I was her, at least in appearance. Underscore 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 underscore. I traced the edges of my skirt, feeling the fabric cling to my hips. My hands trembled as I ran them over the blouse, over my arms, over the faint curve of my waist. Each touch was a jolt of both humiliation and excitement. My chest tightened, my pulse raced, and a part of me, the boy I had been, screamed to run. But the girl in the mirror held me in place. "You are learning," his voice echoed in my mind, even though he wasn't in the room. "One day you will own it. One day they will see her, and she will be irresistible." I bit my lip, trying to suppress a shiver. Could I ever be irresistible? Could I ever fully accept this? I tried walking across the room in my flats, heels clicking softly against the wooden floor. The movements felt unnatural at first, awkward, mechanical. My father-in-law's lessons echoed. Stand tall. Walk soft. Move like her. I stumbled once, twice. My cheeks burned. But gradually, I felt something shift. My posture straightened. My steps smoothed. I was still Michael, but Michael in a girl's body. And it was terrifying and exhilarating. Then came makeup practice. Alone, I picked up the foundation, the brush, and tried to replicate the techniques he had taught me. My hands shook. My eyes watered with frustration and humiliation. Each sweep of color, each dab of blush, was a reminder. This wasn't pretend. This was me, slowly transforming into her. When I finished, I stared at the mirror. I almost didn't recognize myself. My lips were soft and pink, my eyes wide and delicate. My cheeks flushed naturally with the blush I had applied. And beneath it all, Michael was slipping further away. Emily's voice echoed in my mind, her gentle praise, her whispered words. "You're pretty." The word lingered, tasting both sweet and bitter on my tongue. I had hated it at first, but now, alone in the mirror's reflection, I wondered if I almost liked it. A strange thrill coursed through me as I adjusted the blouse, smoothing out wrinkles, checking every detail. I was practicing. I was learning. I was becoming her. Just as I began to feel a flicker of confidence, the door opened. Father-in-law stood there, arms crossed, eyes sharp. "Practicing without guidance?" he asked softly, a dangerous smile playing at his lips. "Good. But now, it's time for your first real test." My stomach dropped. The solo practice was over. The public exposure, the lessons, the humiliation, they were about to escalate. And I had no idea if I was ready. The morning sun was blinding, but it wasn't the light that made my stomach twist. It was the knowledge that today I would step outside as her, fully exposed to strangers, under my father-in-law's watchful eyes. I wore a soft, pastel dress he had chosen, delicate lace on the sleeves, a skirt that fluttered just above my knees, and flats that made my steps uneven but graceful enough to please him. My hair was neatly styled, makeup applied carefully, and my reflection in the mirror was perfect. Too perfect. I didn't recognize myself anymore. Father-in-law's voice cut through my panic. "Remember," he said calmly, "every glance, every whisper, every stare is part of the lesson. You will not hide. You will embrace her." Emily trailed behind, her eyes nervous but approving. "You look beautiful," she murmured softly. My cheeks burned at the word, the validation, and the humiliation all rolled into one. The streets were crowded. People bustled past us, laughing, talking, living ordinary lives. And there I was, Michael transformed, soft, delicate, undeniably feminine. Every pair of eyes that lingered made my chest tighten. A man with a briefcase paused, gave a subtle whistle, and muttered under his breath. A group of teenagers giggled as I passed. My knees threatened to buckle. Humiliation and thrill mixed violently in my stomach. "Lift your chin," my father-in-law whispered, correcting my posture. "Walk like you own her. She is real. You are real. They will see it." We entered a cafe. I felt every stare, every whisper like a physical weight pressing against me. The barista's eyes lingered, curious. Someone from a nearby table turned and glanced too long, smiling discreetly. Emily squeezed my hand lightly.
"See?
"You're pretty." They notice.
Pretty.
That word again. It made my chest tighten, my face flush, and an unfamiliar heat spread through me. Humiliation and arousal intertwined, making me dizzy. I wanted to hide, to scream, to flee, but I couldn't. Father-in-law's presence anchored me. As we walked through the mall afterward, a familiar voice stopped me cold. "Michael? Is that really you?" My heart froze. Someone from my past had recognized me. Panic and shame surged. I could feel my cheeks burning, every inch of my body wanting to vanish. But my father-in-law stepped closer, hand firm on my shoulder. "Good," he said softly. "Notice this. She is no longer a secret. She is visible, and she will learn to own that visibility." I wanted to argue, to deny it, but all I could do was nod, trembling. The boy I had been was slipping away. The girl I had become was stepping forward, uncertain, exposed, but undeniably real. As we exited the cafe, the same man who had whistled earlier approached me. His eyes were intense, curious, admiring. You're beautiful," he said softly, a hint of awe in his voice. My stomach twisted. For the first time, someone was seeing her, not Michael. And the feelings that stirred inside me were confusing, intoxicating, and frightening. The apartment felt smaller than usual, suffocating. My legs ached from the flats. My chest still burned from the attention I had received earlier. Every compliment, every stare replayed in my mind, and I hated myself for feeling thrilled. Emily sat on the couch quietly, her eyes filled with concern. "Are you okay?" she asked softly. I shook my head, tears pricking.
I
don't know who I am anymore," I whispered. My voice sounded strange to me, softer, lighter, feminine. The word I felt foreign. Father-in-law entered without knocking, calm and commanding. "You're learning," he said quietly. "But learning is painful. It's supposed to be. You are shedding Michael. She is emerging." I felt my knees weaken. Humiliation, fear, confusion, and a strange thrill collided inside me. I wanted to scream, to run, to claw back the boy I had been, but the girl in the mirror wasn't going anywhere. She was already part of me. He guided me to the full-length mirror in the living room. I stared at my reflection, soft lips, wide eyes, delicate shoulders, slender legs. Every glance reminded me of what I had lost, my old identity, my freedom, my anonymity. "You see her," he said softly, standing behind me. "She is beautiful. You are beautiful. You must own that beauty, even when it terrifies you." I reached up, fingers trembling, to touch my lips. The sensation was surreal. The reflection stared back, patient, accusatory, commanding. The boy I had been was trapped behind soft features and delicate curves, fading with every breath. Emily stepped closer, placing her hand gently on my shoulder. "You're pretty," she whispered. That word again.
Pretty.
Humiliation and pride collided in my chest. I wanted to deny it, but a shiver ran through me. I wanted to feel it. I wanted to be it. Father-in-law circled me slowly, eyes sharp, voice calm but firm. "Every step you take, every glance you give, every reaction you have, they are lessons. The public will notice. Men will notice. Women will notice. And you must learn to control what they see, how they see it, and how you feel about it." Hours passed. Every movement was critiqued. Every word, Every glance, every posture examined. Tears streamed down my face, humiliation cutting deep, but beneath it, a strange thrill began to bloom. I realized something terrifying. I was starting to enjoy it. I was starting to like being called pretty. I don't know if I can do this, I whispered, voice trembling. You can, he said softly, almost kindly, yet there was steel beneath his words. Because you will.
She is part of you now.
And soon, Michael will be just a memory. Later that evening, the phone buzzed. A text from someone at the cafe earlier. I can't stop thinking about you. Can I see you again? My chest tightened. My stomach twisted. Fear, excitement, desire, humiliation, they all collided. The boy I had been might have run, but she was curious. She was drawn to attention. And that was exactly what father-in-law wanted. It started with a smile. Just a simple, casual glance from a young man at the mall where I had gone with Emily and my father-in-law. But that smile was enough to make my chest tighten, my cheeks flush, and a flutter rise in my stomach that I had never experienced before. He approached slowly, casually, yet there was intensity in his gaze. Hi, I'm Lucas, he said, voice low, curious, admiring. I couldn't help noticing you. You're beautiful. The word pierced me like a thunderclap. My knees trembled, and I had to steady myself against the back of a chair. Beautiful. It wasn't just my appearance. It was her, the girl I had been molded into. Emily, standing nearby, gave a small, approving smile. My father-in-law's eyes were calm, calculating, yet there was a glint of satisfaction. Notice it, he whispered softly. Notice how the world responds. Learn from it. She is real. You are real. Own it. I wanted to deny it. I wanted to tell him I wasn't her, that I was Michael, that this was a cruel, humiliating game. But even as the words formed in my mind, a strange warmth spread through me. A dangerous, thrilling curiosity. I wanted to see how far this could go. Lucas smiled again, oblivious to my internal struggle. Would you like to get a coffee sometime? Maybe talk. My heart raced. Panic and excitement collided. The boy I had been would have laughed nervously, avoided it, maybe even run. But the girl I had become, she hesitated, intrigued, aware of the attention, the thrill, and yes, pleasure. I guess, I stammered, voice softer, higher than usual. I'd like that. Father-in-law's hand on my shoulder was firm, grounding me. Good, he murmured. Notice how that feels. Desire, attention, admiration. She is learning, and so are you. Walking back to the car, my steps were light, measured, deliberate. I caught glimpses of myself in the store windows. The reflection was no longer alien. She looked confident, delicate, soft, but strong in a way I couldn't explain. Emily squeezed my hand. You handled that well, she whispered. I think he likes you. Humiliation and thrill roiled together in my chest. I wanted to recoil, to hide, but a secret part of me wanted to feel it, to enjoy it, to be desired. Later that night, alone in my room, I stood before the mirror. The reflection was mesmerizing. My lips were soft, pink, flushed from the day. My eyes were wide, delicate, and alert. The skirt and blouse clung gently to my curves, soft and shapely. I whispered to myself, I think I'll like this. Tears welled up, a mix of confusion, shame, and something darker, desire. The boy Michael was slipping away. She was stepping forward. And I didn't know if I wanted to fight it anymore. The phone buzzed again. A message from Lucas. Can I see you tomorrow? I want to see her again. My chest tightened. My father-in-law's voice echoed in my mind. She is real. You are hers. And the world will respond. The next day, my father-in-law arranged for Lucas to meet me at a quiet cafe, far from prying eyes. My heart raced as I prepared, standing in front of the mirror for what felt like hours. Every detail mattered. The soft curl of my hair, the delicate sweep of blush across my cheeks, the careful application of lipstick. I had become meticulous, almost obsessive, afraid to appear anything less than perfect. Emily hovered nearby, a quiet presence, offering small reassurances. "You're beautiful," she said softly, brushing a stray strand of hair from my face. My cheeks flushed. Beautiful. The word haunted me, thrilled me, and humiliated me all at once. When I arrived at the cafe, Lucas was already waiting, his eyes lighting up as soon as he saw me. "You look incredible," he said, voice low, full of awe. Panic and excitement churned in my stomach. My father-in-law's teachings echoed in my mind. She is real. Own her. Every glance, every word, every reaction matters. I sank into the chair across from Lucas, trying to maintain composure. Every flicker of his gaze, every subtle smile, sent shivers through me. I was acutely aware of how feminine I appeared, of how delicate and soft my body seemed to him. And a part of me, the boy I had been, wanted to flee, to scream, to vanish. But the girl I had become, she was intrigued, curious, drawn to attention, to desire, to validation. Lucas leaned forward slightly. I can't stop looking at you. You're amazing." The words pierced me like fire. My chest tightened. My cheeks burned. I wanted to deny it, to insist I wasn't her, to reclaim Michael. But every fiber of my being trembled with a forbidden thrill. You're really into me?" I whispered, voice soft, feminine, uncertain. "I don't know into her," he admitted. "She's stunning. And I like her." The subtle distinction, her, not Michael, cut deep. Humiliation surged, yet beneath it, an undeniable heat spread through me. I was being seen as her, desired as her, and, despite the shame, a part of me wanted it. Later, as I walked home, I caught my reflection in a shop window. The girl staring back was no longer uncertain or timid. She was delicate, alluring, poised. Yet my eyes betrayed a conflict, desire and embarrassment, pride and shame, exhilaration and terror. Father-in-law's words echoed. "She is yours to shape. And she is irresistible when fully realized." I shivered. He had orchestrated every moment. Every glance from Lucas, every whisper of admiration, had been a lesson. And the lesson was clear. I was slipping further from Michael, and she was taking over. That evening, a text arrived from Lucas. "I can't stop thinking about you. Can we meet tomorrow alone?" I froze. My pulse raced. The boy I had been would have panicked. The girl I had become was curious. The next day, my hands shook as I prepared. My reflection in the mirror was flawless, or nearly so. Soft curls framed my face, makeup highlighted delicate features, and my dress clung just enough to accentuate curves I was only beginning to recognize. Emily hovered silently nearby, giving me small, nervous smiles. "You look incredible," she whispered. My cheeks burned, heat pooling across my chest and stomach. Incredible. Another word that both thrilled and humiliated me. Father-in-law appeared behind me, his presence grounding and intimidating at the same time. "She is ready," he said softly. "Remember, boundaries are lessons. Desire is controlled. She must learn to navigate both." I nodded, trying to steady my racing heart. Lucas was waiting in a quiet park, a secluded bench shaded by trees. His gaze lingered on me the moment I arrived. "You look amazing," he said softly. I can't get over it." Panic and thrill collided inside me. The attention, the admiration, the undeniable allure. It was intoxicating. Every glance made me squirm with embarrassment, yet deep down, I felt alive in a way I never had as Michael. He shifted closer, brushing a strand of hair from my face. My stomach twisted. I wanted to pull back, to reclaim my old self, but the girl in the mirror's reflection, the one I had been practicing for weeks, was curious, hesitant, drawn to him in ways I didn't understand. He reached out, a subtle, almost casual touch on my hand. My heart pounded. Shame, fear, and an unexpected thrill swirled inside me. I wanted to recoil, but the touch lingered, sending shivers up my spine. I whispered, voice trembling, feminine. I don't know if I should. Father-in-law's words echoed in my mind. Control. She must learn to navigate desire. She must understand boundaries and embrace who she is becoming. Lucas smiled softly. We can take it slow, he said. I don't want to scare you. I want to know her.
You.
The distinction, her not Michael, hit me like a physical blow. Shame flooded my chest, but beneath it, a thrill I couldn't name surged. I wanted to hide, to run, to reclaim my boyhood, but a dangerous, thrilling curiosity whispered, what if I don't want to? Walking home later, I caught my reflection in a shop window. She was poised, delicate, undeniably feminine. The boy Michael was fading, dissolving into the reflection of soft lips, wide eyes, and curves I had been forced to acknowledge. Tears welled up, a mixture of fear, excitement, and humiliation. The lessons were working. Father-in-law's control, Emily's guidance, and the attention from Lucas were breaking down my old self, shaping me into her. That night, a note slipped under my door. She wants to see you tomorrow evening. Alone. Be ready. My chest tightened. The line between shame, desire, and curiosity blurred. I didn't know if I was terrified or secretly eager. The following evening, my hands trembled as I prepared for Lucas's visit. My reflection in the mirror was almost unrecognizable, soft curls framing a delicate face, eyes wide and expressive, lips gently pink, and a dress that clung to my new curves with a subtle elegance. I barely recognized the girl staring back at me. Emily hovered nearby, offering small reassurances. You're beautiful, she whispered. My cheeks flamed. Beautiful. Another word that both humiliated and thrilled me, leaving a strange ache in my chest. Father-in-law's presence behind me was both grounding and controlling. Remember, he said softly, she must learn to navigate attention and desire. Every glance, every gesture, every word counts. She is real. Own it. Lucas arrived, his eyes immediately locking onto me. You look amazing, he murmured, a slight smile tugging at his lips. His gaze was warm, curious, and intent. Panic, shame, and a strange thrill churned inside me. Every step, every flicker of his attention made my pulse race, my chest tighten. He guided me to the couch, sitting close, yet maintaining a respectful distance. I wanted to see you, he said softly. Really see you her. Not just in passing. I like her. I like you. The words pierced me like a gentle blade. Shame surged, but beneath it, a thrill began to bloom. A dangerous, thrilling curiosity that whispered I wanted to feel it, to explore it, to see how far this attention could take me. We talked for hours. His voice was gentle, reassuring, admiring. And with every laugh, every shared glance, every subtle brush of his hand, I felt something inside me shift. The girl I had been forced to become was no longer just a disguise. She was emerging, curious, aware of her allure, and beginning to understand the power it held. Yet shame lingered, gnawing at the edges of my thoughts. I wanted to retreat, to reclaim Michael, to reject this strange, intoxicating identity. But the more I resisted, the more I realized that she, the delicate, feminine, observant girl in the mirror, was no longer optional. She was here to stay. Father-in-law's lessons echoed in my mind. Control. Boundaries. Desire is a tool. Humiliation is a teacher. Every compliment from Lucas, every moment of attention, was a subtle lesson in self-awareness, poise, and restraint. And though I hated the way it made me feel, I could not deny the small, dangerous thrill rising within me. Emily's whispered encouragements, the soft pressure of her hand on my shoulder, and Lucas's attentive gaze all collided in my mind. Shame, excitement, and a growing sense of identity blended together, confusing and intoxicating me. Just as I began to feel a strange comfort in this new connection, a notification buzzed on my phone. I saw her today. She's more beautiful than I imagined. We need to meet. Alone. My heart skipped. Fear, excitement, humiliation, and desire intertwined. The lessons were far from over, and the line between Michael and her blurred further with every heartbeat. The mall was crowded, buzzing with weekend shoppers, their voices and footsteps a constant, overwhelming hum. I gripped my purse tightly, my heart hammering against my ribcage. Lucas walked beside me, calm and confident, while I felt exposed, vulnerable, and every bit of her, the girl I had become, on display for everyone to see. Father-in-law's eyes followed us from a distance, assessing, calculating, his presence like a silent weight pressing down on me. Emily trailed slightly behind, offering small reassurances, her hand brushing my back from time to time. "Keep your chin up," father-in-law whispered when our paths crossed a reflective glass wall. I glanced at the mirror-like surface and froze. The girl staring back at me was undeniably feminine, delicate and beautiful. My old reflection, the boy I had been, was gone, fading behind wide eyes, soft lips, and the gentle curve of my waist. A group of teenagers passed by, whispering and giggling. I felt my stomach twist, heat burning across my cheeks. Humiliation and arousal collided violently. Lucas's hand brushed mine subtly, a grounding touch that sent shivers through me. We stopped at a cafe. I felt every glance, every whisper from the patrons like a physical weight pressing against my body. Lucas smiled warmly, his eyes never leaving mine. "You're stunning," he said softly, voice low enough for only me to hear. I felt a flutter in my stomach, a dangerous mixture of fear and excitement. My cheeks burned and my chest tightened. I wanted to hide, to shrink, to run, but I couldn't. She, the girl in the mirror, the girl Lucas saw, was here, visible and undeniable. Father-in-law approached silently, observing. "Notice how it feels," he murmured softly. "The world sees her. You are hers. Learn to navigate it." I wanted to protest, to claim Michael, to deny this strange, intoxicating identity. But every glance from Lucas, every whisper, every subtle gesture reminded me that she was real. She existed. And she was powerful in ways I had never imagined. By the time we left the cafe, my legs were trembling, my chest aching with a mixture of shame, desire, and awe. I caught my reflection in a shop window. She was poised, delicate, undeniably feminine. And yet my eyes betrayed the conflict inside me. Fear, excitement, shame, and a thrill I couldn't name. As we exited the mall, a familiar voice rang out behind me. "Michael? Is that really you?" I froze. My pulse skyrocketed. The girl I had become was exposed, recognized, and suddenly, my private humiliation became public. Every lesson, every subtle training, every step of transformation was on display. And there was no escape. The voice had stopped me cold. "Michael? Is that really you?" I spun around, and my heart sank. A former friend from school, someone who had known me before any of this, was staring at me with wide eyes. Recognition flashed across their face, followed by shock, confusion, and an unmistakable hint of judgment. I froze, unable to speak. The girl in the reflection, the one I had spent weeks becoming, stood exposed and vulnerable. Every curve, every delicate gesture, every detail of my feminine transformation was suddenly under scrutiny. Lucas, sensing my panic, gave a gentle squeeze of my hand. "Hey, it's okay," he murmured softly. But his presence only intensified the storm of conflicting emotions inside me. Shame, fear, embarrassment, and, confusingly, a faint thrill coursed through my body. Father-in-law appeared at my side, calm and commanding. "Good," he said quietly. "Notice this. She is real. She exists. And the world will respond. She must learn to accept it or lose control." I wanted to shrink, to hide, to reclaim Michael. But the girl in the mirror, the girl Lucas and the world were seeing, refused to retreat. She was here, visible, powerful in her own delicate way. The confrontation escalated quickly. My former friend's eyes darted from Lucas to me, struggling to reconcile the boy they once knew with the girl standing before them. Whispers started around us, subtle yet audible, as more people noticed. My cheeks burned, my chest tightened, and my hands trembled. I wanted to run. I wanted to scream. But father-in-law's steady voice cut through the chaos. She will face this. She will endure it. And she will emerge stronger. Control is her ally. I glanced at my reflection in a nearby store window. The girl staring back at me was delicate, soft, undeniably feminine, but her eyes held fear and uncertainty. She was beautiful. She was visible. And yet, part of me still longed for the boy I had been. Lucas stepped closer, offering reassurance. "You're amazing," he whispered. "No one else matters. I see her. I see you." The words hit me like a jolt. Humiliation mixed with a strange thrill. Desire, fear, and excitement intertwined. The girl in the reflection, and in Lucas's eyes, was more real than Michael had ever been. By the time we left the mall, the whispers and glances followed us. My legs shook, but I held my head high. Father-in-law's teachings echoed. She is hers to shape. She is irresistible when fully realized. She must learn to control attention, humiliation, and desire. I was Michael no longer. She was emerging, fragile, delicate, and powerful. And there was no turning back. That night, alone in my room, I stared at the mirror. Tears streamed down my cheeks as I whispered, Who am I now?" The reflection didn't answer. It didn't need to. I was hers and she was me, and the world would soon see it. The invitation had arrived a week earlier, crisp and formal, bearing my father-in-law's unmistakable handwriting.
A social gathering.
Friends, colleagues, and acquaintances. Tonight, she must shine. My stomach twisted as I prepared. The dress he had chosen was elegant, a soft silk fabric that clung to my curves, delicate lace at the neckline, and a subtle shimmer that caught the light. My hair was styled in loose waves, makeup carefully applied to enhance my delicate features. Every detail mattered. Every flaw would be noticed. Emily offered quiet encouragement. "You look perfect," she whispered. My cheeks burned.
Perfect.
That word had become both a torment and a thrill. Father-in-law's eyes met mine in the mirror. She must be undeniable. Confidence is key. Poise is power. She must own every gaze, every whisper, every thought directed at her. The social hall was a swirl of movement and sound. Men and women mingled, voices rising and falling in a steady hum. Lucas walked beside me, calm and attentive, his admiration subtle but constant. My chest tightened with every glance, every whispered comment that I caught. She is beautiful. She is delicate. Who is she? I froze at every utterance, heat rising to my cheeks. Each whisper, each stare, was a lesson. Each glance tested my resolve, my control, and my new identity. Father-in-law's presence was constant, yet unobtrusive. He observed quietly, a guiding force, reminding me with subtle gestures and words to lift my chin, straighten my posture, and move with grace. I was being shaped, molded, refined, not just in appearance but in presence, in aura, in control. Lucas leaned in, voice soft. "You're stunning. I can't stop noticing you." The words hit me with a surge of embarrassment and thrill. Desire, shame, and excitement collided, making my pulse race. I wanted to recoil, to hide, but the girl in the mirror, the one I had become, stood poised, visible, undeniable. She didn't shrink. She didn't flinch. As the evening progressed, people noticed. Compliments were whispered, attention lingered, subtle glances were exchanged. I felt every ounce of it, the humiliation, the thrill, the strange power. Father-in-law guided me with quiet corrections. Step lightly.
Speak softly.
Smile naturally. Own her. Each lesson sank deeper. Michael was fading. She was emerging. Near the end of the evening, someone from my past, a classmate, stepped forward, recognition in their eyes. "Michael? Is that really you?" The room seemed to freeze. All eyes turned. Whispers surged. And in that moment, I realized fully, Michael was gone. She had taken his place. The girl I had become stood exposed, visible, and undeniably real. The evening air was crisp as Lucas and I walked home from the social gathering. My heels clicked lightly on the pavement, a rhythm that seemed to echo the fluttering of my heart. Every glance from him, every subtle smile, made my chest tighten with a mixture of fear, embarrassment, and something dangerously thrilling. Father-in-law had said nothing directly about romance, but his lessons were clear. She, the girl I had become, must learn to navigate attention, desire, and control. Lucas's subtle gestures were a test, and I could feel the tension rising like electricity between us. We paused by a quiet park, away from the bustle of the city. The moonlight caught my hair, making the soft waves shimmer. My reflection in the nearby pond was mesmerizing. She, the girl staring back, was delicate, soft, undeniably feminine. Michael was a ghost behind her wide eyes and trembling lips. Lucas stepped closer, his hand brushing lightly against mine. The touch was electric. I can't stop looking at you, he whispered, voice low, intimate. You're beautiful. My cheeks burned, my breath caught. The word beautiful had haunted me, thrilled me, humiliated me. And now, under his gaze, it struck a chord deeper than I expected. A shiver ran through me, and I wanted to hide, to deny it. But she, the girl I had become, was curious, drawn, alive. I don't know if I should. My voice trembled, high and feminine. Lucas smiled softly, brushing a strand of hair from my face. You don't have to decide yet, he murmured. Just feel. Let her feel. The tension between us grew, subtle but undeniable. His hand lingered near mine, a quiet test. I wanted to recoil, to retreat to the safety of Michael, but a dangerous thrill surged within me. She wanted this attention. She wanted to explore it. Then, without warning, Lucas leaned closer, his lips brushing mine in a tentative, gentle kiss. My body froze. Embarrassment, shame, and a strange thrill collided violently. I wanted to pull away, to reclaim Michael, but the girl in the reflection, soft lips, wide eyes, delicate features, didn't resist. The kiss deepened slightly, and I felt a warmth spread through me, a mixture of excitement and fear. Father-in-law's words echoed in my mind. She is real. She is powerful when she embraces attention and desire. When we finally pulled apart, my cheeks were flushed, my heart racing. I looked at Lucas, and he smiled, eyes full of admiration and curiosity. You're incredible, he whispered. The reflection in the pond stared back at me, soft, delicate, undeniably feminine. And for the first time, I didn't recoil. I didn't deny her. She, the girl I had become, was real. And a part of me, terrifyingly, wanted to feel this thrill again. As we walked back, my phone buzzed. A message from father-in-law. She is ready for the next step. Prepare yourself. My pulse quickened. The lessons, the transformation, the control, they were far from over. And I realized fully, Michael was gone. She, the girl, was here to stay. The evening air was crisp as Lucas and I walked home from the social gathering. My heels clicked lightly on the pavement, a rhythm that seemed to echo the fluttering of my heart. Every glance from him, every subtle smile, made my chest tighten with a mixture of fear, embarrassment, and something dangerously thrilling. Father-in-law had said nothing directly about romance, but his lessons were clear. She, the girl I had become, must learn to navigate attention, desire, and control. Lucas's subtle gestures were a test, and I could feel the tension rising like electricity between us. We paused by a quiet park, away from the bustle of the city. The moonlight caught my hair, making the soft waves shimmer. My reflection in the nearby pond was mesmerizing. She, the girl staring back, was delicate, soft, undeniably feminine. Michael was a ghost behind her wide eyes and trembling lips. Lucas stepped closer, his hand brushing lightly against mine. The touch was electric. I can't stop looking at you, he whispered, voice low, intimate. You're beautiful. My cheeks burned, my breath caught. The word beautiful had haunted me, thrilled me, humiliated me. And now, under his gaze, it struck a chord deeper than I expected. A shiver ran through me, and I wanted to hide, to deny it. But she, the girl I had become, was curious, drawn, alive. I don't know if I should. My voice trembled, high and feminine. Lucas smiled softly, brushing a strand of hair from my face. You don't have to decide yet, he murmured. Just feel. Let her feel. The tension between us grew, subtle but undeniable. His hand lingered near mine, a quiet test. I wanted to recoil, to retreat to the safety of Michael, but a dangerous thrill surged within me. She wanted this attention. She wanted to explore it. Then, without warning, Lucas leaned closer, his lips brushing mine in a tentative, gentle kiss. My body froze. Embarrassment, shame, and a strange thrill collided violently. I wanted to pull away, to reclaim Michael, but the girl in the reflection, soft lips, wide eyes, delicate features, didn't resist. The kiss deepened slightly, and I felt a warmth spread through me, a mixture of excitement and fear. Father-in-law's words echoed in my mind. She is real. She is powerful when she embraces attention and desire. When we finally pulled apart, my cheeks were flushed, my heart racing. I looked at Lucas, and he smiled, eyes full of admiration and curiosity. You're incredible, he whispered. The reflection in the pond stared back at me. Soft, delicate, undeniably feminine. And for the first time, I didn't recoil. I didn't deny her. She, the girl I had become, was real. And a part of me, terrifyingly, wanted to feel this thrill again. As we walked back, my phone buzzed. A message from father-in-law. She is ready for the next step. Prepare yourself. My pulse quickened. The lessons, the transformation, the control, they were far from over. And I realized fully, Michael was gone. She, the girl, was here to stay. Weeks had passed since I fully accepted her, the girl I had become. Father-in-law decided it was time to test me in the ultimate public setting, a local charity gala, filled with influential guests and curious eyes. The dress he chose was daring, a deep crimson silk gown, backless with a delicate lace overlay. My hair was curled into soft waves, makeup flawless. Every detail screamed elegance, femininity, and undeniable presence. Lucas accompanied me, calm and attentive, his admiration obvious but restrained. Every glance from the crowd, every whisper, every subtle stare reinforced the lesson. She, the girl, was now visible to the world. The first moments were overwhelming. People approached me, complimented me, whispered questions. Every recognition felt like a test, every gaze a challenge. I realized that the thrill of being seen and admired was intoxicating. My pulse raced, cheeks burned, and yet I didn't want to retreat. Father-in-law's words echoed in my mind. She must thrive in attention. She must learn control. I was no longer shy or timid. She, the girl, was commanding space, capturing eyes, embracing her power with grace. During the gala, a mysterious young man approached. Dark-haired, confident, and charming. He complimented my poise, my elegance, and subtly tested my reactions. Every word made my heart flutter. Every glance sent a shiver down my spine. Lucas noticed, a flicker of emotion crossing his features. Father-in-law watched quietly, a subtle smirk on his lips. Lesson number 2. Jealousy, desire, and attraction are tools. I felt torn. Shame, curiosity, and excitement collided. Michael would have been horrified, but she, the girl, was intrigued, alive, and exploring this new dynamic with a thrill she had never known. That night, alone in my room, I stood in front of the mirror. The girl staring back was delicate, feminine, undeniably beautiful. Yet doubt crept in. Could I truly live like this? Was this identity permanent? Father-in-law had taught me to embrace control, attention, and desire, but the echoes of Michael lingered faintly. I traced her delicate features with trembling fingers, whispering to the reflection. She is real. She is me. She is alive. Tears rolled down my cheeks. The conflict between old and new, shame and thrill, fear and desire, created a storm inside me. I was no longer just Michael. She had taken his place completely, but was I ready to embrace the full consequences? The next day, at a boutique, I encountered someone from my past, a childhood friend who had known me as Michael. Recognition dawned instantly. Whispered words and wide eyes followed me as she realized the transformation. I froze, my heart hammering. Shame, fear, and humiliation flared. Lucas held my hand tightly, grounding me. Father-in-law's voice echoed in my mind. She must face exposure and emerge stronger. I realized fully. She, the girl, was real, visible, undeniable. And the world would see her whether I liked it or not. Father-in-law orchestrated a private evening, a final lesson, to cement her feminine identity. He guided me step by step, dressing, makeup, gestures, posture, voice. Every detail mattered. Lucas watched, silent, but intensely attentive. Desire, admiration, and curiosity mixed with fear and humiliation. By the end, I looked in the mirror, and she, the girl, was complete. Michael was gone. Father-in-law smiled. She is yours, Michael, or rather her. Own her, cherish her, guide her. She is real, alive, and undeniable. I finally stepped outside fully as her, confident, poised, delicate, and undeniably beautiful. Lucas took my hand. She's perfect, he whispered. Every glance, every comment, every subtle attention I received confirmed it. She, the girl, was not just a disguise anymore. She was my reality, my identity, my life. The world had changed. I had changed. Michael was gone. She was alive. And for the first time, I didn't fear it. I embraced it fully. A soft ping on my phone. There's a fashion show next month. She will shine. Are you ready? My pulse quickened. Adventure, attention, thrill, and transformation awaited. She, the girl, was ready for the world. And Io was finally hers. The city's skyline glimmered as night fell, lights reflecting in the glass of the grand event hall. The invitation to the fashion show had come with father-in-law's usual mix of command and subtle warning. She must shine. The world must see her fully. I stood backstage. Her, the girl I had become, perfectly poised, every detail meticulously prepared. Hair curled in delicate waves, makeup flawless, crimson gown hugging my curves, heels clicking softly against the polished floor. The thrill of attention coiled tightly in my chest, mingled with nervous anticipation and a touch of fear. Lucas was at the edge of the stage, eyes fixed on me. His presence grounded me, but also heightened the intensity. I could feel every gaze, every whispered comment, every flash of cameras as a test of control, poise, and fully realized feminine identity. The lights hit, and suddenly all eyes were on me. The world seemed to pause. Every step I took down the runway was measured, elegant, deliberate. Whispers spread like wildfire. Compliments, stunned glances, and subtle admiration filled the air. The thrill was intoxicating. Humiliation, shame, desire, and pride mingled, twisting into a storm of emotions I had never experienced. Michael would have crumbled under this pressure, but she, the girl, walked with poise, grace, and an undeniable presence. Father-in-law watched from the sidelines, calm, commanding a small, satisfied smile tugging at his lips. She is real. She is alive. She is undeniable. Midway down the runway, a familiar face in the audience caught my attention, a former classmate, the same one who had recognized me weeks ago. Recognition flashed across their face. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Humiliation flared, but instead of retreating, she, the girl, held her posture, lifted her chin, and smiled, captivating everyone with her delicate elegance. Lucas's eyes met mine, filled with admiration, desire, and subtle pride. "You're incredible," he whispered after the show, brushing a stray curl from my face. I felt a shiver run through me. Shame, thrill, excitement, and validation colliding in a way that made my pulse race. Backstage, father-in-law guided me quietly, correcting subtle movements, reminding me of poise, voice, and gaze. Every lesson, every correction, cemented the transformation further. Michael was gone. She, the girl, was complete, fully realized, ready for the world's attention and desire. Later that night, a message from Lucas appeared on my phone. "She stole the show tonight. Are you ready for the next step?" My pulse quickened. Adventure, public exposure, desire, and transformation awaited. She, the girl, was ready, and Io was finally hers, fully and completely. The morning after the fashion show, I woke to a soft chime from my phone. A message from Lucas. "She was stunning last night, but someone noticed. Are you ready for what's coming?" My stomach twisted. The thrill of admiration had always been intoxicating, but now there was tension lurking beneath it. Someone had recognized her, the girl I had become in public. A rival, perhaps, or just a curious observer from the past. By midday, the inevitable happened. At the boutique, a young man approached, dark-haired, confident, exuding a quiet charm. He seemed to know me, or rather Michael, from the past. Recognition flared in his eyes as he whispered, "Michael, is that really you?" I froze. Panic surged, mixed with shame, humiliation, and an unexpected thrill. Lucas, ever attentive, stood beside me, subtle jealousy and protective energy in his posture. Father-in-law had prepared me for attention, but this was personal. Recognition from someone who knew my past shook the fragile foundation of my new identity. The rival, he lingered, curiosity burning in his gaze. Every glance, every word, was a subtle test. My pulse raced. Shame, fear, excitement, and desire collided violently. She, the girl I had become, was terrified, but also intrigued. "Don't panic," Lucas murmured, brushing a loose strand of hair from my face. His hand lingered just slightly longer than necessary. The touch was grounding, yet intoxicating. I realized fully. She, the girl, was alive, but the shadows of the past and unexpected attention made her vulnerable. Father-in-law appeared quietly, a small, satisfied smirk tugging at his lips. She must face recognition, attention, and desire. "All three will cement her identity," he said calmly. The afternoon became a test of poise and control. Every interaction, every gaze, every whisper reinforced the transformation. She, the girl, was visible, undeniable, and learning to navigate attention, jealousy, and desire with elegance. By evening, the tension had escalated. Lucas and I returned to the estate, both silent but emotionally charged. I stared into the mirror, tracing delicate features, soft curls, and subtle makeup. Michael was gone. She, the girl, was alive, visible, and undeniably feminine. Tears of relief, fear, and exhilaration ran down my cheeks. She was real. She was powerful. And yet, the shadows of recognition lingered, teasing a storm of humiliation, desire, and anticipation for what was coming next. A soft chime from my phone revealed another message. She caught the attention of more than one person tonight. Are you ready for her final test? My heart raced. Public exposure, romantic tension, desire, and humiliation awaited. She, the girl, was ready, and the world was about to test her fully. The city buzzed with anticipation for the Charity Gala's final event, a high-profile social evening where influencers, celebrities, and society's elite would mingle. Father-in-law's instructions were clear. She must shine. She must be admired, envied, and recognized. She, stood before the full-length mirror in a floor-length sapphire gown. Hair curled elegantly, makeup flawless, posture perfected. Every detail was designed to captivate. The heels clicked on the marble floor with a rhythm that matched the pounding of my heart. Lucas appeared at the doorway, eyes wide with admiration and pride. "You're breathtaking," he whispered, voice low, almost trembling. I felt a shiver run through me. Desire, pride, and excitement collided with lingering fear. She, the girl, was alive, visible, and undeniably feminine. The moment we entered, every eye seemed drawn to me. Whispered admiration and subtle envy spread like wildfire. A few recognized me from previous events. Some, like the mysterious admirer from the boutique, lingered longer, curiosity burning in their gaze. Father-in-law's calm voice echoed in my mind. She must face recognition, desire, and envy fully. This is her final lesson. Every step I took across the polished floor was a careful blend of poise, confidence, and elegance. Every glance from the crowd reinforced her identity. The thrill of being seen, admired, and envied coursed through me. Michael was gone. She, the girl, was fully alive. Lucas guided me subtly, brushing a hand against mine, his touch grounding yet electrifying. The mysterious admirer lingered nearby, subtly testing my reactions. Each glance, each whisper, each subtle smile intensified the emotional storm within me. Shame, humiliation, excitement, and desire twisted into a powerful mix I had never felt as Michael. Alone for a moment, I caught my reflection in a glass panel. The girl staring back was flawless, delicate, poised, undeniably feminine. The crowd's attention, Lucas's admiration, the subtle envy of others, all confirmed it. She was complete. She was visible. She was real. Father-in-law appeared beside me, placing a hand gently on my shoulder. She has endured attention, desire, jealousy, and recognition. She is hers now. She is complete. Tears stung my eyes, not of shame, but of release, pride, and acceptance. The girl was real. She was powerful. And I, finally, embraced her fully. Lucas leaned in, eyes full of admiration, and kissed my hand gently. "You're perfect," he whispered. The thrill of desire, validation, and identity consolidation washed over me. I realized fully, Michael was gone. She, the girl, was alive, visible, and undeniable. A soft notification on my phone lit up the darkened room. The final adventure awaits. Are you ready to claim her fully? My pulse quickened. Public attention, romantic tension, and ultimate identity acceptance were imminent. She, the girl, was ready for the world. And Io was finally hers. The sun rose over the city, casting golden light through the tall windows of the estate. She, the girl I had become, stood before the mirror one last time. Every detail was perfect. Soft curls framing delicate features, flawless makeup accentuating wide, expressive eyes, and the flowing pastel dress emphasizing gentle curves. Michael was no longer a part of me. His faint memories lingered only as whispers, fading in the brilliance of her presence. I traced my fingers along my jawline, lips, and cheeks, soft, smooth, undeniably feminine. A sense of completeness settled deep in my chest. Lucas appeared silently, leaning against the doorframe. His gaze lingered, admiration, desire, and affection mingling in his eyes. "She is perfect," he said softly. "And so are you, finally." I felt a shiver run through me. Desire, pride, and relief intertwined. Every humiliation, every lesson, every tear and tremor had led to this moment. She, the girl, was real.
Alive.
Powerful. Visible. Father-in-law entered calmly, his expression unreadable yet satisfied. She has endured recognition, attention, envy, desire, and control. She has faced every test and emerged complete. You may live now, fully, openly, as her. The words struck deep. I realized that the girl wasn't just a disguise, a challenge, or a lesson. She was life itself. Every moment I had resisted, shivered, or doubted had refined her, molded her, and ultimately liberated her. Lucas stepped closer, gently taking my hand. "Are you ready to step into the world as her?" he asked. I nodded slowly, heart pounding. I am ready," I whispered, voice steady and clear. "She is me. I am hers. I am alive." We stepped outside together, the city alive with possibility. Whispers, glances, and subtle admiration followed us, but I no longer feared them. Every step was confident, poised, and deliberate. The thrill of being seen, desired, and admired was intoxicating. Michael was gone. She, the girl, was complete. And the world was hers. Later, alone in my room, I faced the mirror one last time. The girl smiled at me, her eyes bright with joy, curiosity, and strength. She had endured, transformed, and emerged victorious, not as a boy trapped by circumstance, but as a woman fully alive in her identity. I whispered softly, almost reverently, "She is me. I am hers. And I am free." A notification from Lucas appeared on my phone. "Our first adventure together as her begins tonight. Are you ready to shine?" I smiled, trembling with excitement and anticipation. She, the girl, was ready. And Aya was finally, completely hers.